Most men spend years slowly dying for people who made their decision in seconds. They call it loyalty. They call it love. I call it what it is, a slow, voluntary execution with no audience and no applause. I want to ask you something honest. When was the last time you actually let go of something? Fully, completely? Without looking back even once? Not pretending, not the slow fade where you still check their profile at midnight. Not the "I'm moving on" speech you gave yourself while still carrying every single detail of what happened. I mean, actually gone. Most people never do it, not once in their entire lives, and I get it. You've been told your whole life that the right thing to do is talk it out, get closure, be mature about it, don't burn bridges. You know what? I followed that advice, and it cost me years I can't get back. There's a different way. It's faster, it hurts harder for about 48 hours, and then it's over. For real, I call it the Ronin Method, and once you understand it, the way you handle every toxic person, every dead relationship, every draining environment in your life changes permanently. Here's what they never told you about strength. It is not the loudest man in the room. It is not the one with the widest shoulders or the sharpest comeback. I have sat across a table from men who could physically destroy me and watched them crumble, not because I hit harder, but because I did not react. They expected panic. They expected apology. They expected negotiation. What they got was silence. And silence in the right moment is the most terrifying thing a human being can encounter. The real mechanism of power has never been external. It has always been internal regulation, your ability to feel everything and show nothing, to be hit and smile. Not because you are numb, because you have already decided how this ends. Picture the man you do not want to be. And be honest, he's still texting, still asking mutual friends for updates, still crafting the perfect message that will finally make them understand. He's lying awake at 2 a.m. rehearsing arguments he'll never have. He's building an entire emotional courtroom in his head, prosecuting, defending, and judging himself simultaneously. And calling this processing, what he is actually doing is bleeding. Slowly, voluntarily, from a wound he keeps reopening, because the alternative terrifies him more than the pain. I have been provoked by people who wanted a reaction more than they wanted oxygen. Publicly, professionally, personally. And I learned something that took me years to earn. The moment you react, you lose. Not because reaction is wrong, because it tells them exactly how deep the hook is buried. And they will pull it every single time. The man who controls his response controls the entire dynamic, always, without exception. There are two kinds of battles, the ones outside you and the ones inside. I am not going to tell you I had a hard time in vague, relatable terms. I will tell you specifically. I went through a period of institutional collapse, financial, relational, reputational. Simultaneously, the kind of thing where rational people begin measuring exit options, where the math of continuing stops adding up. What saved me was not resilience in the motivational poster sense of that word. What saved me was metallurgy. The understanding that pressure and heat do not destroy strong material, they reveal it. The same fire that reduces soft metals to slag is the exact process that hardens steel. Your pain is not a wound, it is ore, unrefined, ugly, enormously valuable. The Ronin Method is built on this. You do not transcend your suffering, you forge with it. Now let's go microscopic. Your face is broadcasting everything you think you're hiding, every microtension in your jaw, every asymmetrical blink, every half second where your eyes move before you want them to. These are leaks, and in high-stakes environments, negotiation, confrontation, evaluation, leaks get exploited. I have sat in rooms with people who had institutional authority over my future and given them nothing, not because I felt nothing, because I had trained the gap between stimulus and expression until it was a wall, not a window. The ancient Stoic philosophers understood this. Epictetus, a man born into literal slavery, wrote that no one can harm you without your consent, because harm requires your reaction to complete the circuit. The absence of reaction is not weakness, it is the highest available leverage. Unpredictability is power, mystery is armor, give them nothing to hold. And they have no grip. Here is the binary, there is no middle option. You can choose the path of instant relief. The text sent, the argument had, the explanation demanded, the closure pursued. It feels like control. It is addiction wearing a reasonable mask. Every time you re-engage with something that should be dead, you reset the withdrawal clock and call it moving on. Or you can choose discipline. Not discipline as punishment, discipline as architecture. The deliberate construction of a life where your reactions belong entirely to you. Let me tell you about the worst betrayal of my professional life. Someone I had trusted with access, real access, the kind that could be used as a weapon, chose the exact moment of maximum vulnerability to do exactly that. The instinct in that moment was immediate and physical, a full system alarm. Everything in my body said, respond now, destroy now. I did not respond, not that day, not publicly. I went quiet, I observed, I documented, and 3 months later, when I moved once, precisely, and it was over. The method does not ask you to be passive. It asks you to be surgical. Timing is everything. A reaction in the moment of peak emotion is ammunition handed to your enemy. Stop waiting for the world to be fair. It will not become fair. It was not designed for your comfort. And the sooner you stop navigating reality as though it owes you clear signals and honest actors, the sooner you become genuinely dangerous in the best possible sense. The men and women who have built anything worth having did not do it in safe, predictable environments. They did it inside chaos, inside betrayal, inside systems that were actively working against them. They stopped calling the difficulty unfair and started calling it information. Every hostile environment you're currently surviving is giving you data. Nobody sees you right now. Good. The loudest voices in any room are almost never building the most significant things. They are performing building. There is a difference. And in the long run, the difference is everything. You are in a phase of compression. Silent, invisible, unglamorous. While others are broadcasting every small win for validation, you are accumulating. While they perform discipline on social media, you are practicing it in the dark where no one will applaud. The oak does not apologize for looking like nothing in its first years underground. The infrastructure being built below the surface is the entire reason the height above it becomes possible. Your obscurity is not failure, it is foundation. And the people who will one day try to understand how you got to where you're going, they will not see this chapter. That is not a loss. That is exactly how it should be. I'm not going to ask you if you're ready. That question is for people who need permission. Here is what you're going to do. Starting today, not when you feel ready, not when the timing is better, not after one more conversation. Identify the one thing in your life you have been cutting slowly. You know exactly what it is. The person, the habit, the environment, the story you keep telling yourself. You have been reducing it by degrees, 5% at a time, while calling it progress. Today, you cut it completely. No message, no explanation, no final conversation. You remove the access, you remove the exposure, and you do not look back. Then, every morning for the next 30 days, before you check your phone, before the world has any access to your attention, you spend 5 minutes in total silence, sitting with your own thoughts without running from them. That is the training ground. That is where the method is built. The Ronin had no master. He served no lord. He answered to no system that had not earned his allegiance through demonstrated worth. That is not isolation. That is sovereignty. This is what the Ronin Method gives you when you execute it completely. You stop bleeding for people who are not bleeding for you. You stop explaining yourself to those who have already decided what you are. You stop seeking permission from a world that will give it only after you no longer need it. Clean cut, single motion, no looking back. Every time the old pull comes back, return to this. Not for motivation, for recalibration. Because the method does not ask you to feel nothing. It asks you to feel everything. And cut anyway. One cut, clean, now.